Welcome back to Mentally a Badass. Today I sat down with Kenyon Glover, who is a former NBA player. He suffered an injury that cut his career short, which put him into a deep depression. From this experience, he discovered a new purpose in his life. We talk about his new fitness program called Fitness Beats Depression and all the books that he has written. Enjoy! Hey y'all, welcome back to Mentally a Badass. My name is Justine and I'm with Kenyon Glover. He is a former NBA player as well as an author of Faithful and Focused. And today we are going to be talking about his fitness program that it's called Fitness Beats Depression. And I'm very excited because that sounds super different. We never talked about anything like that on my podcast. And you guys know that, fitness is very important to me. So just hearing about that he has a program that's supposed to help, that is like basically tailored to helping with depression. That's actually, I'm super excited. So thank you so much for being on my podcast today. I really do appreciate you being here.
So thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about being on it.
Yes. And before we begin, I just thought that we tell a little funny story. Because I just feel that it should be in the podcast. So I was introduced to him about a couple of months ago, but in the email it was titled his name was Mr. Gilbert. I don't know why. Still today, don't know why. So I referred to him as Mr. Gilbert, and then also when I had my podcast assistant referred to as Mr. Gilbert too. So I don't know. I really don't know where it come from, but in my head, in the back of my head, you're always gonna be Mr. Gilbert.
As long as you don't call me Mr. Gilbert throughout this interview,
no.
But I have no idea how they came up with Mr. Gilbert.
I gotta reach out to my friend that said Mr. Gilbert. I gotta get down to this. I need to know where this name came from. It is such a random name. Like it's not like it wasn't even close to your name. So that's where I was really confused.
Yeah, and I look nothing like a Gilbert, so I'm offended by that. No, it's fine.
But honestly, super grateful that you are so sweet, because I'm just like, when I Googled you and I was like, wow, look at this guy. He's such a cool person. I'm out here calling him Mr. Gilbert. Like, what is wrong with me?
You'd have people all over the world searching for Mr. Gilbert. Who is this Gilbert? I can't find him.
I'm telling you, right after this, I'm calling that our mutual friend. I'm gonna be like, listen, why did you give me the wrong name, making me look so unprofessional? But yeah, I just thought I'd put a little funny story in the beginning because I need to record it. I need it for it to forever be there because it's iconic. But let's get into the episode here. So, okay, so we're going to open up this conversation with first just talking about a little bit about your background, like when you first experienced depression. So I do want to talk about your past. So whenever you're open with talking about, when did you start realizing that you struggle with depression? Were you a kid? Were you a teenager? I feel like just kind of open up a little bit about your past.
Yeah, so when I first encountered depression and really knew what depression was when my career was over as far as playing in the NBA. And I immediately became suicidal because that was a blow. That was a really bad blow to me that I didn't expect. I didn't see that coming. I had a career-ending knee injury, and the doctor told me that my career as a basketball player was done. And when he told me that, I was just getting started. Like I had just got to the NBA at this point. And for him to tell me something like that, that was absolutely devastating, especially for someone that just getting started. This was my dream. This was my passion. This was my love since I was 7 years old. And I accomplished what I set out to accomplish, and I made it. I can say that I made it, and a lot of people can't say that, but when I found out that news, I couldn't. I was in shock. I was in a shock that I just wasn't ready for, and it sent me into a state of depression. I didn't realize what depression was until I got diagnosed by somebody, a professional therapist or whatnot, and they told me I was in a real bad state of depression, and I had become suicidal. and I even attempted suicide on my life. And that's how it began, and it stayed with me for years, a really long time. So that was my first encounter with depression. That's how I found out what depression was.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I can definitely see how that would be, that would trigger depression. Like I mean, I'm sure your therapist told you, but you like with depression, it can, be in family history, it could be a gene, and it's just like a traumatic event, like something like that, like extremely life altering that can trigger it. And then you just like didn't realize that like this can happen when so you said you were just starting. Was it like your first year, like your second year, like was it like right in the beginning?
Yeah, it was right in the beginning. I hadn't played 4 months in the NBA. I had just, I had just played professional overseas. I played in England for the first year out of college, and then I got picked up by the NBA my second year coming out of, England. So this was my first encounter with the NBA, and 4 months in, that injury happened, and I was done.
Oh man, and I'm definitely so sorry to hear that. How long ago was this?
This was in 2006.
Okay, yeah, so this happened, yeah, so 2006. And wow, I'm so sorry it happened for you. How long were you in a very deep depression until you from what it looks like you found like a new purpose. Like you're doing so many amazing things right now for the world.
Yeah.
How long like did it take for you to get to that point?
You know what? Honestly, it took about it took about 10 years.
10
Honestly,
years. Oh wow.
yeah, I know some people are like, wow, that's a long time. Well, because the reason it took so long, because even though I kind of got over getting past the injury part, and just getting into the mindset where I was saying, you know what, it's done. It's nothing I could do about it. I have to try to move on, and find a new passion and find something else to do in my life. Even though I did that, I got into acting and got into modeling. I got into filmmaking and being an author and writing and all of that. But there were still things that would happen to me over the course of the years. And when I felt like I was getting out of depression and getting back into a better state of mind, something else would happen. Something traumatic would happen and draw me back into that state of depression. You know what I'm saying? Like other things in
Yeah.
life, personal issues and other things that would happen just ironically would draw me back right back into depression. And then I would have that flashback of my injury all over again. You know what I mean? I don't know
Yeah.
why, but um, it's like whenever something bad would happen to me, I would just be like, oh man, here we go again, something else. Now I got to deal with this. And now then I would think, wow, if I would have just been still playing basketball right now, I would be in a better position or better
Mhm.
financially or whatever the case may be. So it would always be something that would happen that had nothing to do with basketball. It would just be other personal stuff that would draw me back into depression when I thought I was getting out. So that's what kept me in it for so long.
Yeah, I mean that definitely does like make sense is because the traumatic event with the injury with the basketball, and you achieving your dreams and it being taken away from you, that's like always going to be like the like when it's your first traumatic event, that's the one that you're like always going to remember, the event
Right,
that triggered that depression. So anytime anything bad happens to you and it puts you back in that state of mind, you're always going to have like that flashback and like think about your injury all over again.
exactly.
Like an example for like with me, my like I discovered I had like severe like depression and all that when I was a teenager. But with me, when I was a child, I was very like severely bullied, and a lot of bad stuff happened to me then. So if anything bad happens to my life today, I always fall back to how I was treated and how people
Right,
call me worthless, and that I couldn't get anywhere in life, and there's no,
right,
I'm a waste of space. Like that's the kind of childhood that I had. So like it's like an ongoing battle with me. So I think like I thought moments that I've healed from being, I had a big breakthrough in therapy when I was in college. I, from there, I didn't feel worthless anymore. And that was a huge thing for me. But like, I've been going through a lot of like stress the last couple of years, but a lot of life changes. And then I kind of like still fall back on that, which is like, it's really, and I feel like, and that's kind of like similar to like what you're saying. It's just that it's how sad it sounds. It's like always gonna be like on the back of in your subconscious, because that was like the big event. But all we can do like our best right now is just like, to keep moving forward and to keep doing what you're doing, because you are making, like I said, when I was looking you up and seeing like what you do, I'm like, this is actually like really inspiring. And I was seeing some articles about you saying that like you went through a rebirth, and like I totally know how that feel. I'm literally on Justine 3.0 life right now. But I'm not gonna go into like my life, but this is spotlight on you. But basically what I'm saying is like, it's like you're going through a rebirth, and I feel like everything happens for a reason, even if it's something that we're not, crazy about. And how you've been dreaming to be an NBA player since you were, 7 year old, and you achieved a dream. And then it feels horrible when you got that injury and you're thinking like, why is this happening to me? But it's also like, I'm sure you have like understood the mindset of like, what is meant for you will come to you. And
Yes.
and you are so it looks like your purpose in life would be impacting people in different ways of what you're currently doing. Do you feel today that you are, you told me took you 10 years to, I mean, depression is always like, the way depression is, it's not like, it's going to be a lot of up and down, unfortunately.
Right.
How mental illness works. But like, how do you feel where you are in your like state of mind today?
Well, you know what? I feel the best I've ever felt. And I say that because I'm very excited and glad about all of the things that I went through. I'm glad about the disappointments and the failures and the challenges and the adversities that I had to overcome, because it made me the man I am today. People don't realize that sometimes dealing with certain pain will actually push you to your purpose.
Yeah,
All of
100%.
the pain that I had to deal with, all of the disappointments and the failures and the challenges and the adversities, all of that pretty much prepared me to get to this point. It prepared me to be the man that God wanted me to be.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be the man that I am today without having to go through some hurt. So I'm very excited about who I am today and who I have become today, because it's because of that pain. It's because of those different depression stages that I had to go through, and suicidal attempts and suicidal thoughts that I had to overcome, that I feel like I'm the strongest mentally that I could ever be. And it's because of those moments. So I feel good today. I feel amazing. And I created the program Fitness Beats Depression because I wanted to inspire people. I wanted to help people who are dealing with depression. I wanted to be that shining light that can bring you out of that darkness, because I know how it feels. I know how it feels to be in the dark. I know how it feels to be broken and wanting to give up on life myself. And I made a promise to God that for the rest of my life, I will help people. I will help bring people out of that darkness and bring them into the light and give them hope that you can make it, that you can overcome whatever you're going through, because every human has what it takes to get past whatever you're going to, as long as you can push through it. But you have to push through it. And sometimes people need that extra push. Some people need to be spoken life over, and some people just need to be encouraged in a consistent basis. So that's where I am today, and that's the man I am today, and I plan on doing that for the rest of my life. I just want to be an inspiration to people.
Yeah, and you're definitely doing a great job, and I truly like I can extremely relate to you like so much, because when I went through all of like my pain and everything, I knew that I was meant to help others. Like I went through really like a lot of like my suicidal and time stuff in high school. But I knew like I wanted, because I also was just naturally good at like helping people, like, just like friends always just come to me for certain things. And it was like that natural thing. And then like I was originally gonna go, I have a degree in psychology. I was originally gonna like try to be like a therapist and go down that route. But then I realized I'm like, I have I have severe mental health issues, and I just don't feel like I professionally should be in that position. Like I don't think it's really safe. So I was like, but I still, of course, feel that I'm meant to dedicate my life towards mental health. And so, and then, then social media started getting bigger and this and that. And then I've had a YouTube channel, and then I suddenly maybe make a podcast, and I also have a coloring book, and I just have like other things that I do. And I want to do more down the road as well. Just making that impact with mental health. And I really feel like we're like the chosen ones, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
I literally have felt like that, like I especially like in my family, like I feel like I'm the only person like in my family who feels that they have like higher purpose in life.
Right.
Like I don't
Right.
feel like I'm just really just meant to be, okay, I'm alive, I'm working to pay bills, and then I retire and then I die. You know what I mean? Like that's
Exactly.
not
Yeah.
how I feel like I'm meant to live my life. I don't see how that's like a purpose. Like I just can't live that kind of mediocre life. Like I feel like I need to always be doing something to make an impact in order to feel that to feel like I'm fulfilling, that purpose that I'm meant to, do. And like I do believe that like we are like God's chosen ones. And I do feel like we're on this earth to, help, heal like all like the pain and like the craziness that goes on in this world. And we did have to be put through, we pretty much had to be tested. We had to be
Exactly.
going through hell to be able to know how that feels. Because then when you
Yeah.
go through that hell, know how that feels, and you survive it, then you're like, I've been through this, I can help others so other people can survive it. Because there's so many people out there with depression. There's unfortunately people, a lot of people out there committing suicide who unfortunately didn't have the ability, like not the ability, who didn't come across the people to help them. But now we live in this world where
Right.
there's social media, and there's like it's like humans can get more in touch with more people and like have a broader audience and basically essentially reach more people. So I do feel like, even though I've always like grew up, I've had this mindset. I'm like, why does all this bad stuff happen to me? Why what everyone hate me? Why am I going through all this and this and that? But then now I live like a completely different life where the other people who like hated me back in the day are now like looking up to me. And
Right.
it's just crazy. And I'm just like, super glad that I decided to, not, go down that route with suicide. And I'm so happy that you didn't as well. And, if there's reasons that it failed, it's because like, you're meant to be here. You're meant to have that higher purpose. And, it's very super unfortunate what happened with you with the NBA, but it's just like, it was like that injury was unfortunately in like the life plan that, that God gave you to, put you in a position where you reach so many people. Like you have a huge audience, I see, on Instagram, and you're reaching so many people. And I'm so glad that we were, able to be connected. So now, we reach each other. It's just like, I just love like, like the power of social media. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, like I love social media because, like you said, it gives us a way to reach. Yeah, so people call me all the time because either they're going through depression, or their kids might be going through depression, or someone is suicidal that they know that they want me to speak to, and hopefully I can empower them or inspire them some way. I mean, I get messages daily, about something like that. So, and I take this serious because I know how it is. So I never turn away anybody. I'm always willing to talk to anybody that may need some inspiration or motivation or encouragement or support. If I can be there for them, I'm going to be there for them, no matter who it is. So, like I said, I've become, I've become like a therapist, a counselor myself. I mean, that wasn't my intent, but if they need to be, talked to and uplifted or encouraged, I'm going to do whatever I can to help bring them out of that state of mind. So I do take this serious.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome that you're doing that. I wish like, back in the day when I was going through that, we didn't like have people like you that would, I mean, I'm sure there probably were people like you, obviously, but we didn't have like the kind of like accessibility that it's
Right.
easier now for parents to send like a DM on Instagram, or, it's easier to access people like you versus like back in the day, it really wasn't like that. But you are like a really good person for, taking the time out of your day to give to someone who is struggling. And, you probably saved so many people's lives. And like, that's just like knowing that you did that, that is just phenomenal. So even though you went through like so much pain, ended up like you receiving something like 10 times better of what you were able to do with your life. And it was like, it was meant for you. Let's talk about, when did you write your book?
Which one? Faithful and Focused?
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually wrote that book. I didn't write that, but I wrote that book November of last year.
Okay, so November last year.
Yeah,
20.
I wrote it in November and I released it in January this year.
Nice. How long does that usually take? That's me trying to do math.
I mean, for me, I can write. I mean, once I get going, it starts flowing, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, I'm done writing. I've written a whole book before I even realize it.
That is so nice. I always want to write a book. I get such bad writer's block. I'm just like that, but I do. That's like that's like definitely one of my big bucket list goals, is like I want to write a book. So can you talk a little bit about the book for me?
Faithful and Focused. Yes. So the subtitle, the theme of the book is called Conqueror. So what the book is about is being more than a conqueror, because the Bible says we are more than conquerors through Christ Jesus. So within the book, I'm inspiring people and empowering people to let them know that you can conquer whatever you're going through. You can conquer fear. You can conquer the doubts. You can conquer that inner enemy that's inside of you telling you that you can't do this, or you're not worthy to do this, and all of these negative things that you may be going through internally. And my book is meant to empower you to say, you can conquer it. You can conquer the doubts. You can conquer the fears. You can conquer failure. If you failed before, so what? Get up, get back up, and keep moving forward. You were created to be more than a conqueror. So that's pretty much what the premise of the book is about. Faithful and Focused derived from my last book, The Rebirth and Resurrection of a New Man. And the subtitle of that book was Faithful and Focused. So God gave me that vision of faithful and focused. So I wanted to stick with that vision of moving forward the theme of faithful and focused, which means being faithful in who God created you to be. Mm-hmm. God is faithful, so we should be faithful. Mm-hmm. And being focused on utilizing the gifts and the talents that he has blessed us with. Everybody has a gift and a talent that you have been blessed with. So you need to be focused on utilizing that talent and sharing that gift with the world. So that's what faithful and focused comes down to.
I think it would be a great book for like someone, because I do 100% believe that everybody on this earth has some type of gift, skill, talent, or something that God has given them to help make that impact in this world. But there's I know a lot of people, and I'm sure you do know a lot of people too, that just feel that they don't have that. You know what I mean? Right. I've had people look at me and they just say, well, you can start a business because you have that drive, because you have that personality, because of this, because of that. And like, I do believe that some people are naturally better at certain things than others, but I also believe that like, you can still be successful. You may just have to try a little harder. Like I have ADHD and I did horrible in school. I was getting like D's and like, I almost failed 8th grade. Like I was so bad. And here I am now owning like a business, having a podcast. And it's like, and I did really well in college. It's just because I had to sacrifice a certain lifestyle that wasn't going to help me reach my goals. Like in college, I wasn't out like partying every single weekend, like, things like that. Like I had to like sacrifice the social life and study, things. So like, because I take longer to, learn and comprehend things because of ADHD. So I just feel that like a lot of people, I don't think really understood that you're so like, people are so much more. And if you're not naturally good at something, it doesn't mean that you can't do it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think, do you talk about that at all in your book, about what I just like mentioned?
I don't really discuss that in my book, but when I do speak at engagements, of course I do cover that. I cover anything dealing with, trying to be successful and trying to really find your gift and find out what your passion is. A lot of people don't know what their gifts are, what their passions are, what their talents are, and they spend a lifetime trying to figure out, what gifts they have or what talent they do have. And some
Mhm.
people give up before they even find out,
Yeah,
and
it pains me to
they
see
kind
that
of,
too.
yeah, and they kind of just settle, you
Oh,
know.
I know.
And
Yeah.
my thing is, you should never settle. You should
Never.
never quit. You should never give up, because each and every person has been gifted with a gift and a talent. So you have to develop that relationship with God, and allow Him to help you find that gift and talent that you've been given, because you must share it with the world, because we need what you have. We need your gift. Whatever your gift is, whatever your talent is, we need it. The world need it. We need to experience it. Just like the I have the gift of speaking. I have the gift of motivating, encouraging people. So how would I look if I hold that gift in? I'm not being fair to the world. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. So let's transition talking about your fitness program. Like what does that entail?
So basically, I'm just showing people different exercise, because people get lazy and people get unmotivated and uninspired about when it comes to exercise.
I'm
So,
guilty of that, to be honest with you.
so my program, Fitness Beats Depression, is just meant to give you different exercises and drills and techniques and tools, um, that will keep you motivated, that will keep you inspired to have fun with exercise. Especially with people going through depression or anxiety or mental health issues or whatever the case is. I just want to be that person that say, look, right now we're developing a mobile app. Actually, we're developing a
Mm,
Fitness Beats Depression mobile app, so people will be able to
awesome.
go to the mobile app on a daily basis, and I'll give them a different exercise or exercises to do for the day. Very simple stuff, nothing too complex. I want to make it easy, because sometimes you just need to get your body moving.
Mhm.
Get your body doing different things, out of the ordinary, something that you may not be used to doing. So, and sometimes, well, most of the time, that will get you out of that state of depression. That would take your mind to another place of positivity. So, that's pretty much the whole basis of the Fitness Beats Depression program that I'm trying to take around the world and take it global. You know.
Yeah, and that's awesome. So you said it's going to be a mobile app soon?
Yes, yes. Hopefully we'll launch it this summer.
Nice. Yeah, we gotta I follow you on Instagram, so I'm assuming you'll probably promote it there. But that sounds. I definitely would definitely check that out. So, would people be able to find this program like anywhere else? Like, do you have like a website? Is there
Yeah.
videos or?
Yeah, we're working on the website. We're working on all of that. So, like I said, we hopefully gonna put together even a tour. We're gonna go to different cities and put together
Mm,
a Fitness Beast Depression tour, and host different events in different cities.
that's so
So,
cool.
yeah, we're making a lot of things happen. We're about to go out and change the world. So we're working on a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's if you ever find yourself in Florida, 'cause I live in Florida. So if you ever find
Oh,
yourself
what
in
part?
Florida, so I now temporarily live in Fort Myers. Right now, I'm actually currently in Orlando. Remember, I told you that I'm
Okay.
like having all this moving stuff going on lately. So right now, I'm physically, as you're seeing me, in Orlando right now. Would you, for your tour, what kind of places would you go? Would you go to like conference centers, schools? Like, what kind of environment are you like kind of like targeting?
You know what? We're targeting cities that have a high depression rate,
Smart.
a high suicide rate. So we're targeting those cities. So right now we're just researching the major cities that have a high percentage as far as depression and suicide. So those will be the cities that we hit. So we're definitely going to work on hitting schools, colleges, or even just hosting our own event, where people can come out and have a good time and learn about some fitness, and we actually do some fitness stuff, and different things going on, have some speaking, and to empower people and uplift people. So we're still in the works. It's still a lot of stuff that's still in development.
That's awesome. And then when did you say you were planning on doing this? Like in the summer?
Yeah, it's gonna
Or
start this summer for sure. Probably
just yeah.
July. Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. That's so exciting. So it's definitely good to go around and make them aware. And would you I guess probably maybe down the road find yourself going like more international and visiting different countries?
Oh, absolutely. That's what it's all about. Going global.
Exactly.
Going
Yeah.
global. Yeah.
Going global.
International, domestic. We're doing it all.
And
Going all over the
especially,
world.
yeah, there's like other countries that, have a higher suicidal rate. I can't like remember which ones are like the higher rate. But I did definitely do know, like definitely visiting them, because it's just like, it just honestly just makes me like so sad. Just, when I think I'm kind of just like, my thoughts are just kind of like in my head right now. I don't know how to put it into words, but I'm just like so also just so like happy that I was able to, have this conversation with you and to bring what you're about to do onto my podcast with people who are listening. Because I might to that person who's experienced similar things as you, what's that piece of like one piece of advice that you would provide that person?
You got to keep the faith. You got to keep the faith that whatever you're going through, it's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. You have to enjoy the journey that you're on, and not be so anxious to get to the destination. But the journey that you're on will be the journey that will transform you. I never would have gotten to this point, like I said earlier in the interview, if I have not went through the pain that I had to go through. And that pain that you're experiencing, or that you may experience, that will be the pain that will push you to your purpose. Believe me, you have a purpose. If you have not found your purpose yet, believe me when I say you have a purpose. I would have never thought that my purpose would be to empower the world, to help change the world. But I think Will Smith said a quote a while back. He said, in order to, what did he say? I can't remember the quote. It's right on the tip of my tongue. It just escaped my mind that quick. But you have to keep the faith to know that this too shall pass. You have to keep the faith that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. You have to keep the faith that greater is he that is in you is greater than he that is in the world. You have to keep the faith that you can pursue, you can achieve whatever you're out to achieve, as long as you don't quit, as long as you don't give up. Because in the process, you're going to experience hurt. You're going to experience some trials and tribulations that you're going to have to go through and endure. But once you endure and come out on the other side, you're going to be so grateful and thankful that you were able to experience those storms and get through those storms. It is going to make you a stronger person, stronger than you ever would have thought you would have been. And I've realized that I'm a lot stronger than I ever thought I would have been, just because I've endured so much and I've overcame so many trials and tribulations. So just keep the faith. Stay strong. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. And most importantly, don't ever give up on God.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you again. Thank you so much. I'm going to put, of course, all of like, your social media stuff in the description for this show. Again, thanks again for being on here. We're providing so much value. And for everyone who's listening, I hope you guys have a great day, evening, morning, whenever you're listening to this podcast, and stay tuned for next week's.